It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso. Thank you so much for joining us. Time to, of course, introduce Dr. Eve. I'm loving having her here. I don't know why I'm rubbing my hands together for this chat today. No, we love it when we can get into the thick of it. And I mentioned earlier, we're going to open Pandora's box. Why? Because this is quite I don't want to say controversial, but an interesting topic this morning. We're talking about relationships and moving too fast. We all love to be swept off our feet and be sucked into a beautiful romantic relationship, but that can happen really quickly and bring on a whole different dynamic.
Exactly. So the question that we're asking this morning is, has your relationship developed or progressed a lot faster than you thought was normal or usual? And do you feel your relationship is struggling because you moved through the big steps a lot faster than what you feel you should have? Maybe you're one of the lucky few that was able to build a relationship in a really short space of time, and maybe you want to share those stories with us. Thankfully, we have our expert in studio. You know Dr. Eve is here.
You know what I'm doing?
021-430-9881 is the number that you need to give us a call on. Good morning, Doctor.
Do it with me, guys. Grab the handbrake.
Okay.
Just pull that handbrake right up there firmly. No, this is really interesting because I think so many people, I'm that kind of person. I'm all in straight from the beginning because I know and I'll get involved, and that's just the way that I am. But for a lot of people, that can lead to the downfall of their relationship because they're moving too fast, bypassing certain steps. But why is there this perception that you've got to kind of have a roadmap and do things in a conventional way?
With you on that. I'm so with you on that. That's called a relationship escalator. And society gives it to us. And let's kind of stick with what society tells us about relationships. And I'd love to hear from our viewers, from a cultural perspective as well, what their cultures, what their families, what their friends have told them is a normal relationship escalator to go onto. Now, before we get onto the escalator, I think a really important foundation, which people miss, and that's really the cause of relationship breakdown, is they don't go through the fundamental process of building an intimate emotional relationship. So what is the fundamental? The first most important thing is that people have to do is do something called create a love map. Now, a love map is the basic foundation. Think about a pyramid, right? The basic foundation is when you hang out and you talk and share stories with each other. This is what's gone on in my life. These are stories of my dysfunctional family. This is my terrible childhood. These are things that have happened to me with past relationships. You share your life, and oftentimes people miss that out.
Is that something you do for yourself and the other person? Because I mean, nothing will kill the love. Then like, okay, let's map out a relationship here. I'm going to draw a little. So presumably this is something that you both come into this relationship understanding that you have to do, but you don't necessarily have to sit down and map out your relationship.
But you do want to get to know each other. And people tend not to do that and jump very quickly into the next stage, which is called fondness and admiration. This is all from John Gottman, by the way, if anybody wants to read up about him. And that is expressing a lot of fondness and admiration for the other person. We don't really know who the person is. But then you fools into thinking, okay, I really know this person. He or she loves me so much. They're expressing so much admiration. All that stuff. And then you get into the next stage of saying, okay, I'm really going to be influenced by this person. There's a lot of positivity. You know, you're doing all the nice peacock feathers. You're showing off your best. You're admiring this person. You're saying only positive things. You dispute or push aside anything that you might find a little problematic. Like, okay, I know they've got a history of going to jail, or I know they don't talk to their child, or that their ex is still harassing them. We kind of know that, but we've kind of sent it, what we call it, into exile. We don't want to know about that stuff. So we put that stuff away, and then we move into the next stage too quickly, which is, well, these are things that I'm dreaming about. These are things I want to do with you. But we haven't really got to know each other. So that's where we need to start before we go onto the relationship escalator and what society tells us is normal.
I was going to release the handbrake, but now I'm just going to keep the handbrake up for now.
When we return with Dr. Eve, I want to find out from hers, or taking all of this into account, why do outsiders oftentimes find it weird when a couple has progressed in the relationship?
What's it got to do with you?
So quickly, we're going to talk about that. If you have a question or a comment, 021-430-9881 is the number to dial.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh, Sherry, we're having a proper relationship chat here. But we are talking about moving too fast within a relationship. We've got a caller on the line right now. Sean.
Hi, Sean.
Sean from Durbs. Welcome to it, buddy. How are you doing?
Hi guys, very well, thanks for yourself.
Awesome, brother. Thanks so much for connecting with us. What is your comment, your question for the doc?
You know what, I just wanted to say, like there is a lot of speculation about moving a little bit too quick and, rushing into things, but things happen very fast for myself and my fiance. We've been engaged for 9 months, together for about 8 months before that, getting married now in November on our actual anniversary date.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it's just, a lot of people used to tell me, because I used to ask, like, how do you know? How would you know when you've met the right one, when it's the right person to decide to spend the rest of your life with? And they'd always be like, you'll just know. Like, you'll know.
Yeah.
You know? And I always find that so confusing to try and understand, but now I get it. You just know. You can't picture your life with anybody else. She fills every single gap. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. You'll know when you know, but for me, it's perfect, guys.
Sean, if I could
Congrats,
high-five
man.
you right
Yeah.
now, I totally would. When you know,
Sean,
you know.
Sean, can I ask you a very quick question? How much of that was you being ready for that relationship, and how much of that was you've just met the most amazing person and you're meant to be
it's a great
together?
question.
Like, how much had you been through before that to get to this point, do you think?
Oh no! Look, I've tested the waters here and there. I've much preferred the single life my whole life. But it got to a point where, like, I actually had to sit down and I thought about it a lot, and I just broke her down into little pieces in my mind, and I was like, that is perfect, that's perfect, that doesn't get better than that. I've never met anybody like that, this like this, that like that. And I was like, you know what, if I don't pursue this, I could really regret this. And now, not even less than 2 years later, we're engaged to be married, and it's just, there is no, I don't know how to explain it, guys. It's just something that you know, when it hits you, it hits you.
Oh,
Here, here.
congratulations, man. He did his love map. He did his little love map, and it worked out. That's awesome.
I just love the seriousness of his voice.
Yeah.
You hear how intense it was.
Yeah.
Like,
He's
this
thought
is
about it. It's
real.
not blind.
Yeah.
He's thought about it, and he broke it down, which is
Yeah,
awesome.
but what he also said is there isn't a time into it.
Yeah.
And you were saying while we were chatting just now that there isn't a timeline according to these things. And why is it that people say this is what has to happen?
Yeah.
What's happened in modern society with modern love today is that people have disrupted this relationship escalator. The escalator says that you have to be able to date for a certain amount of time, and then you do your first kiss, and then you can have your first sexual experience, and then you meet your friends, and you meet the family, and then you get engaged. And the disruption today is that people are not doing it that way. They're kind of having a child, buying a house, and then moving in together and maybe getting married. Getting married.
Why were you looking at me when you said people are doing different like that? I mean, I know a lot of people who have done it this way, okay?
You've disrupted. I love it.
It's awesome, yeah.
I love it.
It really
A lot
is.
of people will look at Sean's situation and say, that is way too fast.
Exactly.
That is way too fast.
Yeah.
And you know what? We listen to what they say, and then it throws you into such insecurity in your
Exactly,
relationship.
yeah.
Like, I feel good when I'm with you, but everybody around me is saying,
Same.
it's weird that you've moved too fast. How fast is too fast? Like,
Exactly.
isn't it right when he says, when you know
Yes.
and your partner knows?
Yeah.
That's enough.
Can we put like a 2-week limit on being too fast? Can you say, like, if you're wanting to get married after like a couple of weeks, that's too fast, you know?
I don't know. I think it's always about timing as well.
Yeah.
When you're in the right time, which I think what you were alluding to,
Yeah.
Graham. When you feel like you're open to having something significant and the other person is, or something hookup. Also remember that we're online today, so a lot of conversation happens intensely online. So by the time you meet, you've kind of already jumped ahead a number of steps, and so then it feels actually quite natural to then having a commitment, even if you've just met 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It feels, okay, I've known you for a long time, but actually I've never met you before.
So we've had a beautiful example of young love finding a way. Now I'd like a parent or an elder in a family to phone us about love that's moving too fast and why it should not be. We'd love to hear from you. 021 430 9881. Is your relationship moving too fast? We'd love to hear from you.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso right here on SABC3. Our relationship expert, Dr. Eva, is in the house. We're talking about relationships that seem to have moved faster than usual. Is it okay for you? Is it okay for the people around you? But we do have a caller online. Pauline, good morning. What is your question or comment for Dr. Eve?
Good morning. Yes. So my comment would be that, can you hear me?
Yes, we're
go
here.
ahead.
We're here. Go for it.
All ears, all ears.
So my husband and I got married in 1995.
Okay.
After only knowing each other for 8 months and
Yeah.
dating for 6 months. And of course, people were like, what? That's
Yeah.
never going to last. But 23 years later, and we're still happily married. We must also add that we eloped. Yeah.
Wow, that is amazing.
Did you?
They eloped.
They
I'm
eloped,
gonna
yeah.
get quite
how
personal here.
retrograde
Did
is
you
that?
have to elope? Was there not going to be like consent from the rest of the family to the wedding, or could you just not wait any longer? What was the reasoning, if you can share it with us?
Yeah, sure. So what happened at the time, we had no problems ourselves, but in-laws were not too happy. My father, we are African, so they
Yeah,
are colored.
of course.
And so that was a little bit of a problem, a drama. But
Yeah.
the thing is, it wasn't about them. They're not going to live together. We were.
Yeah.
And we told them, hello, it's not you. But they didn't accept it, and we decided, okay, we're eloping. And a year later, we had a ceremony in church where everybody was
so
invited.
romantic.
There was 1 or 2 members of the family still didn't, come. But I tell you, afterwards they were singing my praises.
Was it
I
also
love
a
it,
case of just
yeah.
you knew that there was nobody else that you wanted to spend the rest of your life with?
Yes, the way he treated me. I mean, he was not about getting into my panties, so
Hello.
that was the
Yes. Thank
Bring
you.
it.
put on the ring first. Yeah.
Love
They
will
need to make more of
find
those.
a way. That is awesome. Thank you so much, man. That's just the right kind of spin, because
yeah, I just have to say, yeah,
I
go
mean,
ahead.
and that's just the kind of family drama that every
love this.
family
You
has.
love the romance of
Yeah,
this.
man. But it's awesome. But when you know, you know. You're a romantic as well at heart.
Kind of, yeah. I think also that I don't want to be judgmental of people who find that they really do want to engage sexually quicker than what should be and what society says should be, and find that it really works for them. The lesson over here is that each one has to have a strong sense of self, just like we heard from
100%.
Pauline. Is that I'm
Yes.
solid in myself, I'm going to define. Imagine, like, this is 25
You've
years
got to be
ago.
strong to do that.
Incredible.
Yeah.
25 years ago, this is just at the birth of democracy. So here we have an interracial couple who decide to defy a family and to do it anyway. So you have to have a strong sense of yourself and be able to say, this is something that feels right just for me. Because there isn't a rule, as we're learning. There isn't a rule around what's right, what's wrong. We're disrupting this escalator. Families perhaps are still hanging on to it. This is the way it's normal. This is the way it should be. They feel anxious that it isn't right
And they
according to
care
the
as
stairs.
well, man.
Of course they
Yeah,
care.
they
I
know
agree
you.
with you.
They know
They
you,
do
you
care.
know?
But there are things that people have to be aware of. That if you don't follow some kind of rituals and traditions, you could get
It's going to come back to
pretty
bite you, yeah.
stuck. You
I'm just
could get
imagining the
pretty
World
stuck.
and Union playing in the background. It's the Rugby World Cup, and he just couldn't contain himself, and he had
I
to drop to
love
one
that.
knee to marry her, man.
I want to come back to this. Why is there this massive concern from the onlookers, from
Yeah.
Are you feeling judged?
No,
I'm
I
getting a
am,
sense
because
that
I
people
get judged a
are
lot
getting
for
on
this
there.
as well.
Yeah.
And we live our lives for the spectators, I think, a lot of the time.
Oh,
we
goodness,
live
that's
our
an
lives for the
interesting-
spectators.
interesting way of
Why
looking
do
at
we
it.
care so much that they are so concerned that if we have not dated for 5 years,
Yeah.
that we're not going to last? And why is there that concern?
And often they're a different generation.
Why?
Yeah.
Exactly. I think that there is such a...
Oh, let's not
should we
answer it now.
wait?
I'm
Should we
gonna,
wait?
sorry, I had to do it
Okay.
again. I'm
We've
going to
gotta
pull up
leave
the
you something
handbrake.
to
I'm
think
going to pull up the handbrake again.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
You know what the number is, call us.
It's my feel good breakfast show.
We're back with your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and we're chatting to Dr. Eve about relationships that have moved a bit faster than usual. Iman, good morning. What is your question or comment for Dr. Eve?
Good morning. I'm good. It's a comment. I have been married twice.
Yeah.
And I feel sometimes it's got nothing to do with time. Sometimes you go through a relationship and you need to get over it.
Yeah.
And I feel the person needs to grow. And with growing, you get matured, and you need to accept the other person's space, personality, all those little things. There might be little things that might hit you, but with growth and maturity, you need to understand one another. And me being 9 years in a relationship, it took me some time to get over my previous failed marriages. And getting to know someone. After 9 years, we decided to get married because I have shortcomings as well as he does. So with acceptance and understanding and communication. So it's not always got to do with time, but the person, him or herself.
I think there is always this convention that you've got to meet one person, have a particular engagement, get married, and that's your life.
Yes,
But do you think you would have been able to find true love and find this partner that you're with now without having gone through that first, as you called it, failed marriage? I'll say a relationship, because it was part of that journey. But do you think you would have found true love if you hadn't gone through that?
No, I don't think so. You know, sometimes you paint a picture of a perfect man or a perfect wife, and life is not about that.
Yeah.
So in most cases, we paint a certain kind of picture, what a man should be like and how he should treat you and personality and all those type of things. But everybody has his shortcomings. You have emotions. You are sad at sometimes, you are happy, something's upset you. Little things, not putting the dirty dishes in the sink, not putting the dirty clothes in the washing basket.
Oh,
Hopefully,
sounds so domestic.
hopefully he's listening right now, and he's picked up some of those tips. Iman, thank you so much. You're a superstar, and
Thank you.
stay happy and in love. We love that. Love will find a way.
Yes.
I don't know. You know, I think one of the cruelties of society and culturally in the Western world, what we have been taught is that love will save us and will rescue us, irrespective of the timing of it. And that is a very cruel joke that society throws at us, because it says all your hurt, all your desires, and as she was saying, Iman was saying, you know, this tick list of what a man should be, that is you know, something we should throw away.
Denial
completely.
is what it is.
Throw it away and heal yourself. This other person is not going to be there to heal you, because you're going to end up with disappointment after disappointment, and then do things which are pretty nasty in that situation, no matter how fast or how slow you enter into it. So even if you're going to wait 9 years to be friends and then have sex, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be in the moment and present with this person and whatever feels right for you in that time, and not to be swayed by what spectators are going to be saying is the right time around that. There is no right time to have a child or to be married or to be having your first sexual experience or to be traveling or to be falling in love. Be present with the moment.
Wow. Powerful stuff.
Yes.
Is this the last one?
Can we have one more?
Unfortunately,
the
it is
last
the
one?
last
No.
one. The gorgeous thing about it is we get to do it again next week,
Yes.
same time, same place, as we
Looking
talk
forward
about
already.
relationships right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. We're going to take a quick
I'm just
break.
releasing
We'll
the
be
handbrake.
back
I'm
after
releasing
the
the
break.
handbrake.
Follow me on Instagram
Here
for
we
more
go.
of this conversation.
Yeah, please.
Bye.